Let's get right into it.
I like it. A beautiful send-off from Zeke there. BloodHounds up against NACT. BloodHounds will be on the blue side. Or no, NACT will be on the blue side. BloodHounds will have second pick. Excited to see how it goes.
The bans are on the table already. The Arlott and the Vexana gets taken out for the side of BloodHounds. Nefarious, which Boca has been playing quite a bit, along with the Matilda, gets taken out from the BloodHounds side. Now, what's interesting is that BloodHounds, they have Ooga Booga on this roam, and he traditionally does not play a lot of the meta. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of bans like the Tigreal and the Minotaur, because he might just pull out the Hylos once again for the show. Now, for the side of NACT, though, a lot of these players are quite standard. And, you know, I just want to point out that Nikoko, this raw element, we have not seen him play NACT, and we don't really know what this player does. So I think that is going to be an element of surprise that NACT has in their pockets to be able to switch up the matchup, especially going against a renowned team like BloodHounds.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, I think if there's going to be a time tonight when we see some spicy picks, this could definitely be the series. It's but the problem is it's something I don't want to see from BloodHounds, because that is where I think they fall off sometimes. And yes, they can get the win here and there with it, but I think, as I was saying before this whole series started, is I want to see BloodHounds keep it simple, man. I want to see them just pick what normal, strong teams pick. Don't get too crazy, at least not this early in the season.
Well, this is an interesting first pick coming out from Nikoko, a deny pick going out against Easy Peasy. But on the side of BloodHounds, we actually don't see Easy Peasy in the jungle this time around. I think Ramsey is the one, and Tempest actually is going to be opting in for the game. I know Tempest is going to be the XP laner. I'm assuming Ramsey here is going to be in that jungle position. So taking the X-Borg, I'm not sure if that's exactly the best pick, but the Guinevere gets to come out and play. And this is a hero that we've seen quite often before, but it seems like she has faded away with a lot of the patches recently.
Yeah, some of her range got reduced for her first skill. But still, do I think she's completely unviable? No, I think there's still some possibilities here. I think it still works very well when it comes down to certain neutral objectives. One of the major problems with Gwynny, though, is like once you dive in, once we get into late game, that Violent Requiem is like a death sentence, man. You jump in and there's no getting out. You're going to get shredded down by enemy marksmen. So unless you're catching the big damage dealers of NACT, it could become a problem in mid to late game.
Now, I just want to point out that this is going to be the first Novaria that we've seen in today's series. And Novaria has been a hot ban recently, along with the Vexana. So this time around, Boca has been placed onto this hero. Novaria is one of those heroes that can kind of control the flow of the team fight, right? One ultimate is a disengage from the whole entire team. The second skill paired up with Ice Queen Wand can provide a lot of the slow, and it depends on what kind of build Boca chooses to go. He can opt to go for that high burst, or he could choose to go for more of a utility. Now, the response from NACT, the Lilia gets picked up, and we've seen this hero do quite the damage, but unfortunately, I feel like today we haven't seen a lot of success from that purple mage.
Sure, for sure. Now with the second phase of bans, the Claude, the Martis, does BloodHounds just go full into the gold lane here? Maybe take out the Brody or the Bruno, one of those two options. Harriet's become this super hot pick today, so, you know, at this point, it's like you never know in the gold lane, and I feel like the gold lane is kind of hard to ban into right now. Like, yes, the Claude and the carry seem to be the defined meta currently, but also so much of it is just trade-offs, so much of it is just mechanics. Any gold laner a lot of gold laners can be very viable right now.
Yeah, the Brody is available, the Natan is also available there. There's a lot of different heroes that NACT can kind of opt into, but it is going to be BloodHounds' turn as NACT bans out the Yuzong, taking away an XP laner, right? So BloodHounds, a little bit sliver on the options here. They have to deal with the X-Borg, and I do think one of the heroes that Mr. Milo was playing on the last game might be a good option. The Uranus could come out to play, but I'm not exactly sure if that's going to be BloodHounds' strategy this time around.
I mean, you never know, man. Milo made it look like a very good hero. He made it work very well. But also the fact that they last picked it when there, like you said, there wasn't a lot of CC, did make it viable. In the current looks of things, depending on what NightHorde picks, it could be a possible good pick for BloodHounds. EXP is another lane where lots of things can work, I feel like, right now. Yes, there are some that are better than others, but there goes the Paquito. My question is still, is this Gwenny going to be jungle? Is it going to be roam? Is this Paquito going to flex in a jungle? A lot of possibilities for the side of BloodHounds here.
Now, a second Wrath appearance coming out for today. This has not been a very traditional roam hero, especially with the new metas of the Minotaur and also the Chigro. Just feels like the Wrath just doesn't have that capability of checking out a lot of bushes. But the synergy paired up with the X-Borg and Barats, the movement speed that the Raphael gives is going to be immense in a lot of these team fights of re-engaging and making sure that they can capitalize on a lot of the mistakes that BloodHound makes. Now, the Paquito is quite interesting, just like you're saying here. The Paquito and the Guinevere can both be flexed onto multiple positions, so BloodHound's not showing a lot of their cards so far.
I mean, NightHorde right now is just a ball of death, right? It's like you already know all 5 of these heroes. Nobody's going way ahead, really, unless you see a Last Insanity or something. Everyone's going to be grouped up. Raph is just going to be moving with them, and it's just going to be advanced forward. Why check a bush when all of us are going to jump into the bush together? You know, like, they don't need... That's pretty much what the plan is going to be here. You've got tons of sustainability. You have some of the damage. It's very kind of, you know, like Blacklist-esque here, old school, Ube, let's group together. Now, BloodHounds, on the other hand, I think at that point, do they pick something? They have some movement speed. They can kind of take angles a bit more here. And here comes the Kaja. I'm not against it. Kaja hasn't been like the most viable pick, but he's going to have to be careful coming in because there's definitely a lot of threats.
I would have liked that BloodHounds picked up a stronger front line, right? Right now, so far, there's not many members of NightHorde that can get onto Boca on this Novaria. And typically, when it comes down to this situation, Novaria is going to go unchecked the whole entire game. Even at a losing game, he's going to be like 3-0 and something, right? But the Kaja coming out in play means that BloodHounds is looking for a lot of pickoffs, and paired up with Sleeps can be quite the dangerous situation, but it does not provide the front line that I think BloodHounds is looking for. The pack in the front, it's not going to be possible. He's building a lot of physical damage, and the Guinevere, yes, there's the Violet Requiem to be able to go in, but it is still not a one-size-fits-all solution to deal with the front line, the sustain, the mobility of the Raphael paired with the Barats and the X-Borg.
I feel like something like the Minotaur, the Grok, something that maybe also could have hit NightHorde when they're very grouped up around this Raphaela. You know, something CC to stop the heals from coming for a time being. I think that could have been a great answer, but they do have pressure, right? If BloodHounds, once the level 4 spike comes for the Paquito and the Kaja and the Guinevere, if they can get some kills, if, you know, I mean, because Paquito packs a punch, man. Guinevere hits pretty hard in the laning phase. And then, you, like you said, you have the carry. You have a lot of these things. So if they can execute it well, it could be huge for them. But only time will tell as we're about to jump into the land of Dawn. This is BloodHounds up against NightHorde, game number 1.
Yeah, is it going to be the new-found team NightHorde coming through with a brand new roster? Or is it going to be the veterans of BloodHounds, where they have taken a lot, especially with the team of Sleeps, Boca, Tempest? We've seen all these people paired up with Uga, Booga, and Ramsey. It's going to be a tough showing from both of these teams. Already, a lot of aggression onto the mid sides, but both mids are quite low here.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of options here. Like I said, I feel like BloodHounds need to know their time to shine and when not to, right? And I think once they hit level 4, once Kaja gets level 4, once Ramsey's on this Paquito gets the ultimate and gets the knockout strike in, that's going to be an important time for BloodHounds to look for plays around the map. Ramsey's is going to need to rotate. You know, right after this first turtle, if they can secure it, they need to hit hard.
And Arlott with the focusing of Assassin, trying to maybe single out the Xborg, is it Xborg? There's no Arlott here, so a little bit of a image.
This is last
off.
game. This is
Yeah, this is the last game. But what's interesting is that we got Tempest in the jungle this time around, and Ramsey on the side lane. Take a look at some of the spells. I do think the Purify might be a little bit overkill, especially when Guinevere is going to be the only one that's available. So I do think BloodHounds have the ability to capitalize on the amount of Purifies that NACT has, because they can't Purify the Kaja, right? So a Flicker Conceal is almost guaranteed to hit onto that Bruno, but maybe they're just betting on the counter engagement and the sustain of the Purifies and the Ube strategy that NACT has set up in the draft.
Now look at Tempest's positioning here. He is alone right now. Needs to be careful. Ooga Booga does not have level 4 just yet. Tempest able to dash away. Out comes the last Insanity. Nico using it more as a zoning mechanism. Ramsey's looking for an angle as well, but oh my foe, able to get it. Paired up with a Daytona's Welcome. That's a kill and a turtle over to the side of NACT.
There's a clean turtle coming out from NACT, but it feels like Ooga Booga was a little bit just not letting go of that objective. The retribution is not available there, so I don't think Ooga Booga had to die. It's a buy one get one free show for NACT so far. 1 kill and a turtle on the board, pushing them almost at a 1k lead, Trex.
I mean, and Ramses is doing a good job in the XP, zoning out Nikoko right now. So well played by him overall, but still, we need to see. I think what's going to be crucial for BloodHounds, I said it once, I'm going to say it again, is him getting involved, him rotating around the map, not kind of hanging out in the EXP lane too much, maybe clearing wave and looking for plays elsewhere.
Yeah, and they definitely have to look for some plays. You could already see Ooga Booga positioning himself onto the top side. Now, do I think that a Flicker grab is going to be able to kill R by himself? I don't think so, especially in this early game situation. But as time goes back, as time scales into that late game, I think BloodHounds have a significant advantage, especially with the Kaja and Carry paired up together.
A lot of possibilities. Looks like all 4 members of BloodHounds up in the top side here.
Yep.
Deciding not to go for a play just yet. Momo's on to him as well. Still kind of a slow game. It's 1-0, but NACT do have a nice lead. A big knock-up on a Momo, and they get the kill. Tempest able to just get away here. Oh my foe, looking for a target. Not able to lock on to Ooga Booga. Ooga Booga will be able to get away just in time.
Yeah, but we did get to see the Purify coming out to play a little bit. Even with the grab coming out from Kaja, the Purify was still able to negate the knockup coming out from Guinevere. So this Gwen, if he chooses to build tank, I think that's going to be the best advantage that BloodHounds can get. Use that tank ability to knock up players and just get a lot of that Purify off the board. Now Ramsey did pop the Flicker, so one utility wasted before the objective comes up. NACT has done super well in terms of the objective focus, but BloodHounds.
Double knockup from Tempest. Does not use the Violent Requiem though. Ramsey also looking for the engage. Turtle getting low. Will go over to Oh My Foe, and now he's going to move on to Ramsey. Boca Roscoe trying to get a little bit of poke, but Ramsey should fall here. Nikoko able to get the kill. Tempest now in a bad spot as well. Getting followed by Nikoko. Nikoko pops Violent Requiem, but it's not going to be enough. Sayori able to get the kill.
And I'm starting to see a pattern here for the side of BloodHounds. Even when they aren't able to get a very clear 50-50, they're still kind of forcing their members to try and get the objectives, which I do think that's going to kind of hurt them in the long run, right? They've dropped kills along with objectives already on the last 2 neutrals. And if they continue this up, I can see that when the Lord does come up, they're going to be losing members left and right, and NACT here in a great position.
Yeah, Tempest in trouble once again. NACT giving BloodHounds the treatment right now. Not giving them any space to breathe. A nice stun on to sleep. Boca Roscoe trying to poke with the meteors, but the damage isn't there yet. BloodHounds denied of their own jungle.
Yeah, and NACT is still holding strong to a lot of the utilities that they have. The Purifies, all 3 are available. And that's going to smell a lot of trouble for the Guinevere, but I do think the rest of the team of BloodHounds have to try and keep it up, right? They have to try and pop the Purifies before it gets used, but it's quite hard as NACT is forcing the objectives down the throat of the side of BloodHounds.
And I mean, the poke just doesn't matter from Boca Rosco right now, right? Because they get the heal. Ooh, Holy Baptism. Ooga Booga goes down. R looking for the matchup here. Sleep's in a little bit of trouble. They're going to go under the tower. Momo takes a tower shot, trades it off with R, and Sleep should be able to go back to base safely. But down on the boss side, a little bit of action on to Ramsey. Oh, my foe decides to back off.
Yeah, it's a good disengagement. I don't think NightHorde has to bite off more than they could chew. It's a 5-1 lead, 4K gold lead for the side of NightHordes. The Dragons have come and has been birthed into this game, and they're definitely leading with a lot of these objectives and small fights.
I mean, it's definitely a tough game for BloodHounds. Already a 4,000k gold deficit, and this is the exact... Oh, wait a second. Nice suppression. Nice grab. They're able to get the kill onto Sayori. No black shoes for her. Oh, my foe takes a turtle. Gets to the Tono's welcome. Lands it down. Ooga Booga takes a lot of damage. Tries to dash away, but Nakoko is on the trail. The last Insanity gets the kill.
Oh my.
And now a clash in the mid side. Violent Requiem locks on my foe, but he still stands tall. Finally falls, but takes Ramsey with him. It's a bloodbath right now. Tempest falls next. Sleeps as well. Nothing but Boca Rosco left. It's a 3-for-4 trade into the hands of NightHorde.
And I thought for a second that BloodHounds have learned their lesson. They were able to grab up a member of NightHorde before the objective goes down, giving them a 1-0. Of course, losing the objective, but they were winning in that team fight. But they ended up losing 4 members for a trade for 3. NightHordes in the lead now with all the neutral objectives and the towers, pushing them at a 5k gold lead early on, 7 minutes in.
NightHorde feeling good right now, man. They're just able to withstand this as much as they want. Ooga Booga doesn't go. He doesn't have the flicker, so he can't do anything too crazy here. BloodHound's just trying to defend and staunch the bleeding.
And it's just really hard for the side of BloodHounds, especially without the front line tank, right? The Kaja with the Divine Judgment is quite good paired up with the carry, but they just don't have that front line sustain ability to kind of just zone out members away. But the knockup coming through, but no engage on Nikoko. The Raga armor is just a little bit too good, but Ooga Booga.
Yeah, I mean, it's another target that Tempest can't even go for, because even if you get the Violent Requiem, the Frog armor just lets you bounce away after, right? So, BloodHounds, it's a lot of tough angles, and it's a lot of things to think about every time they engage and who they go for. And if they don't get the perfect setup, like the perfect targets, pretty much the fight has to not happen for them.
And it's hard because Boca is on the backside trying to snipe a lot of the members from NightHorde, but it doesn't seem like the impact is there yet. The side of BloodHounds just lacking in terms of that significant front line, and they're just struggling, right? Boca is unable to get a few snipes that he's looking for this whole entire game. He is still 0-0-3. The members of NightHorde still cannot touch the Novaria, but if the impact is not there, the damage is not available, and BloodHound is just losing on a lot of these fights, it's gonna smell a lot of trouble, and it's gonna be quite tough here.
Yeah, Tempest needs a big steal here. The knockup does land down. NightHorde have taken control of the top side of the pit. Ooga Booga flickers in, gets suppression on into Nakoko. Boca Rosco going to pop out onto that Fraga armor, but oh my foe, gonna get caught up here. Violent Requiem tossed up, knocked up, and taken out. Tempest able to bounce back. NightHorde still controlling the pit, but BloodHounds might need to try to make a play here. They have some time, no retreat on the field for NightHorde.
And it's quite interesting that BloodHounds actually looked like they were going to lose that fight, especially when Ooga Booga did get poked out. But the response coming through with the Violent Requiem sets up the Barats perfectly for that carry to free hit. And BloodHounds, with a little bit of hope, does take out the jungler in that fight, stopping the neutral objective for being taken. But how long do they have for the clock? The Barats coming back into play. 10 minutes in, the gold lead is still significant for the side of NightHorde to play with.
I mean, at this point, NightHorde's like, fine, we don't even need a retry. We're going to go for this. Oh, my foe does finally get in here. Tempest able to get the knock-up on Sayori. Is not able to pressure out the Purify, though. And that's what Tempest keeps looking for. He's like, maybe I can get him to use the Purify. But as long as all those 3 members have it, there's nothing you can really do, man. And this is the problem. Like, everything that BloodHounds brought, NightHorde just denied. And Ramsey able to finally pick up a kill. And hopefully Ramsey can maybe be the saving grace here.
Yeah,
the knockup does land. Hold on. Oh, my foe taking a lot of damage. does finally go down. Sleep's able to get the kill. The shred from the speedy light wheel just a little bit too much. Lord also going to get melted. Ramsey with the re-engage. And NightHorde finally pushed back a bit.
Yeah, NightHorde finally seemingly losing a little bit of the small fights here and there. The hope coming back to the side of BloodHounds, able to get a small pick off, especially going up against the Barats, right? The Barats doesn't have too much mobility paired up against the Divine Judgment and the Speedy Light Wheels. It's a complete burst for the side of BloodHounds, and now it seems like BloodHounds have the map available. And talking about their spells, we talked about the Purifies not being popped. I think that's actually fine for the side of BloodHounds. I think they have to abuse that they don't have that much CC and use that flicker to get onto the action here.
Put damage onto Sleeps there. Suppression does lock on, and Sayori goes down once again. 1, 3, and 4. When BloodHounds do find their targets, they lock on well. And oh my phone, Sayori definitely taking the brunt of all of this damage.
Yeah, and I think that's a good strategy. You could tell that the Purify has not been popped on the last 2 deaths of the Sayori. That's why I say abusing the fact that 3 of the members on the side of NightHorde have that Purify and just letting the pack just go wild, right? You're not able to purify the pack. You could flicker and run away, but the Purify is just gonna not do too much against the Paquito burst. And we can see it already in the showing. The gold lead has closed back to a 3K, and BloodHounds right now with a little bit of momentum. Ooga Booga camping on the eye bush, but I don't think there's damage for them to burst any of the members of NightHorde.
Yeah, we're starting to see the problem with the Rafaela, right? Because the only real front line, yes, they have Nikoko, but then it's also Oh My Foe. And anytime Oh My Foe goes in and holds down the front, he's getting knocked up, hit by the Violent Requiem, and then Sleeps is shredding him down. So NightHorde kind of have to recalculate a bit how they engage these fights. They need, I think, if Oh My Foe is going to be holding down the front side, the rest of the team needs to be close by. So that if Templess does come in, they can maybe kill Templess before BloodHounds kills Oh My Foe.
And Boca is starting to show that there's really no counter to the Novaria so far, but coming in.
Ooh, suppression does come on to Sayori, but the black shoes pop just in time. Ooga Booga, now the target under NightHorde, but they're unable to succeed, unable to move forward, and NightHorde is just blunted back. It's like the stiff arm in a game of football, man. Every time they try to advance, the meteors come from Boca Roscoe, and the rest comes from, oh, wait a second, a little bit of damage on into Coco. The frag armor is popped. Ramsey makes a couple shots to the face from R. Dashes in, looking for the last one, but unable to connect. Another meteor strikes back, and Ooga Booga finally goes down. But a big knockup on all 4 members from the Lord Templess, able to get a nice spot into the midst of this Lord's Pit, and it's a 50-50, and Boca Roscoe takes it. But Ramsey should go down for this one, make it Templess as well, and Boca Roscoe is the only one left standing.
It's a 4 members for the Lord for the side of BloodHounds. It's a good thing that they did take that Lord, but NightHorde has 5 of the members standing, and I don't think the Novaria has the ability to be able to defend against this.
Oh my lord, that's a lot of damage from R. 5, 0, and 2 on a Bruno.
10 seconds.
Oh, Boca Roscoe gone along with the base. NightHorde take the game.
A 14-minute game performance coming out from NightHorde, taking the victory 14-8. And of course, the side of NightHorde pretty much took this game quite convincingly against the veteran players of BloodHounds. 14-8 and 37 is going to be the overall scoreboard. Some high assists coming across the team. And once again, I just did not feel like the Novaria was having enough time to scale, or the front line of the side of BloodHounds just did not hold up for Novaria to get those snipes in.
Yeah, very well played by NightHorde, even in the moments where maybe there was a chance for BloodHounds to come back. NightHorde keeps it together, they keep it composed, and they continue to get those objectives, they continue to get the wins, and even when they finally lost that one objective, BloodHounds risked a little bit too much, lost too much, and NightHorde cleans up the game before the Lord even comes out.
Yeah, and the Barats has still been a significantly strong showing. The Raphael honestly has done significantly well there too, especially paired up against the Novaria, right? The second skill should be able to kind of purify a lot of the slow mobility that Novaria is producing. And the Raphael, I honestly feel like it was a great counter there. I know it's not been a traditional roam, but to be able to see it back in play, especially paired up with a great front line, has proven to be extremely difficult for any teams to handle.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a problem. Yeah, I'm wondering if that's going to become a thing that we see a lot, right? Like we saw it from BTK earlier, the same type of composition. Now we're seeing it from NightHorde. It's definitely something that is slowly kind of leaking into the NACT meta. And how common is this going to be? I'm kind of excited for it because it's a composition that we haven't really seen in a while. Like that support, you know, Rafaela, yeah, the Ube, man. You know, to not keep on reusing the same words, but yeah, the Ube strat is back in action in NACT.
Yeah, and you know, the side of NightHorde is definitely using that to their advantage. I do think Barats is going to be the key element here, doing a lot of damage and having a lot of that sustainability, and paired up with the rework on the ultimate, giving him that dash, has proven to be quite a good change for the little dinosaur. But I do think we have a few replays coming up, Trex, so potentially we're going to see that last exciting game in action once again.
Yeah, definitely a couple spicy replays coming in. I'm excited to see how exactly they did it. NightHorde feeling very strong. We're about 7 minutes in right here, and this is where we saw some of the possibilities from the side of BloodHounds. But even though they were able to get pickoffs here and there, they weren't able to get the objective. And then when they did finally get objectives, they weren't able to stay alive. So definitely something lacking.
Definitely something lacking here. You can see Foe getting shut off, and this is where BloodHounds, I felt like they got a very good pick off on the objective, right? For the first time in the last 3 turtles, they were losing out members for the neutral objective, but this time around they had a good team fight, and now the Lord is coming up. I also thought that this was a good fight for BloodHounds, but it just feels like the sustain and the Raphael just slowing and healing the members, just too much sustain for the side of BloodHounds. They end up losing 4 of the members in this team fight. They did get the Lord, but the game was lost in the hands of NightHorde.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the big problems towards the end there was, you know, you mentioned that they couldn't find Bocarasco, but also BloodHounds could not get to R. He just had this wall around him of strong heroes. He had the heal and the movement speed coming from Momo. It was a problem, and once he got to 4-0, 5-0, was really scaling. I mean, he's probably one of the biggest crit heroes, one of the highest, this like burst damage marksmen there are. Being able to like 2-shot just about anybody, and it became a major problem.
Yeah, and I do think maybe potentially switching up the matchup could have been a little bit better, like putting the pack up early against the Bruno that only has the Purify, right? Putting him up there, so potentially he has the kill pressure against the Bruno, but this time around the Bruno was able to prevail, got the crits that he needs to be able to just dominate any of the front lines that BloodHounds really did not have, right? When you set up the mages for the long range mages like the Novaria or even the Lilia, you want to have people in the front to sustain the damage, to hold the people in place. But the only thing that BloodHounds had was the Kaja. The pack was a damage, Paquito. The Guinevere had 3 Purifies waiting for him just for the knockup. Right, so it was really extremely hard for any of the members of BloodHounds to sustain the front line, for Boca Roscoe to be able to cycle through his spells and deal the damage that was necessary for them to be able to win any of those team fights.
I like it. So now coming into game 2, you know, NightHorde looking for the sweep, BloodHounds trying to get the reverse sweep. Like, what's the change up here? I think we both agreed that maybe the Kaja pick would have been a little better with something something a bit
utility,
bulky or something, yes, or just something that could maybe get some group CC, you know, an actual tank, right? Not a support tank. Is it the draft? Is it gameplay? Is it a little bit of both? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I definitely feel like the side of BloodHounds, they lacked their traditional strategy where Boca always plays these late game far ranging mages, right? The Sicilian that he has in his pocket, also the Novaria, setting up a good front line to stop the movements of NACT should be prioritized. For example, the Fredrin in the jungle has that CC, has that built-in Petrify. You can also build in something like the Lapu Lapu or Yu Zong, where there is a knock-up and stun available there. But the pack, along paired up with the Kaja, just did not provide the front line that the side of BloodHounds was that they were lacking and that they really desperately needed there.
I mean, there was definitely an issue, right? I think when it came to draft. Also, a little bit again, I would like to see a bit more movement from Ramses. I think once he did get involved with the Paquito, we could see the difference in some of those team fights. They had the opportunity to maybe come back, but it was just a little bit too late. I think this time I would like to see him be a bit more proactive. We saw from some other EXP laners in previous games, EXP laners like Milo, EXP laners from other teams, you have to be proactive. EXP lane is so important in the meta right now, especially when it comes to first, second turtle, mid game, being able to tip the scales of these fights and instead of making a 3v3, make it a 4v3, you know, things of that nature.
And I also think that the pickup on the Barats was so great for the side of NACT. We've seen the Barats pretty much scale and snowball in majority of these games. I think Barats hasn't really taken a significant loss yet today. I'm not sure about the other days, but the Barats has been such a strong pickup that I do think that the side of BloodHounds, if they're not able to take it, maybe look to ban out that hero. So far, it just doesn't seem like there is a great counter to that. Even if the carry is being picked up against it, it just does not feel like it's a true counter so far. The Barats just has that mobility to just go around the map, farm up every single creep, and nobody can deal a lot of damage early on. So finding something that can respond to the Barats, banning it out or prioritizing it in your lineup, I think could make a difference between the wins and the losses in this series.
I think the ban is definitely a thought. Barats is slowly just inching
dominating.
towards, like, yeah, I mean, he's dominating, man. His win record, I would love to see stats on all the win records and everything. I'm sure a little later on in the season, even if we don't have him like as a card, some of us casters will figure them out, look him up on Liquipedia and stuff, because he is definitely just dominating right now, no matter what team he's on. And it's something that some teams are going to have to worry about as we move forward. We're starting to see heroes like the Noland and the Joy not really even get banned out or picked as much anymore. So there is room for things like the Barats. There is room to start slotting in different bans, and a lot of teams have just been banning differently than others. We're seeing the Matilda get picked up more. Some teams letting that through. So I think it's definitely a thought that maybe BloodHounds ban that out. Maybe just completely try to make this next game very different than the last one. Not only in their own draft, but forced NACT to pick a little bit differently as well.
Yeah, and in order for NACT to pick a little bit differently, I think the strategy has to be in place for them. Again, this is the team that has been quite traditional in the sense where they have the same exact players. Their strategy is in place. Boca plays the long-range mage. They have that fighter-style utility jungler. I know Tempest is this time around with the Guinevere, but when they had Easy Peasy, it was always about the Martis, the Exborg, the Fredrin, where it's a lot more utility-based. I do feel like if they kind of go with the strategy of building up that front line for Boca to scale, they might have a better opportunity this time around. And I also think Uga Buga, right? This time around, he decides to go for the meta pick, but we all know he's been quite renowned for something like the Hylos or the Bellaric. Or even the Khalid can come out to play. So I do think there is an element of strategy where they could surprise the opponents, pick up some of their comfort picks, and try to get this game up and going. Because again, if they do not get a point here, they're going to be bumped down very far down the ladder.
See, you want the exact opposite of me, right? Like, I keep saying BloodHounds just stick to the strategy, just pick regular, and you're like, nah, man, bring in that Ooga Booga Khalid, baby, let's run it. And I mean, yes, it's secure the video, and I guess like at game 2 when you're down, when it's match point, yeah, I could get behind that. I could get behind, yeah, let's just go comfort. Let's just pick up something you guys know you feel good on. That way, at least if you lose, you know, you lose on what you like playing. Definitely a possibility. If they do pick things like that, then it still has to mesh well, right? And, you know, if they're going to put Bocarasco on a late game scaling mage, someone who needs to get golden, needs to kind of power scale up, they need to pick a composition that works around that. And that's where I think they're picking what they like, or they're picking what's good, or they're picking just counters, but I feel like they're not thinking about their own composition as a whole, right? About what is needed to make sure this hero shines, what is needed here to make sure this hero is able to complete its job. So I think they're definitely, and that's kind of always been the problem with BloodHounds, right? It's kind of always been the issue. They're a great team. They have the mechanics. They have the skill to get to top 8, but these are the small things that they need to tighten up if they want to be a top 4, top 3. And NightHorde seems to be a little ahead this year. They have this new roster, and the roster's playing well, man. From micro mechanics to draft to macro, they're doing everything that needs to be done. Now, this is a flash from the past right here. We got the real deal draft screen coming in, and I miss it.
Yeah, the first phase has already gone through. BloodHounds picking up the Faramis, the Tigreal, and also the Claude, going up against the response that NightHorde has. It's going to be the Fredrin, the Arlott, and also the Navaria. So a little bit of a switch up. This time around, Sayori is going to be on that mage, but Boca has been pretty known for the Faramis. But this time, the difference is NightHorde has the CC in the front, right? The Arlott has a lot of stuns and, disabilities to go onto the back line of the side of BloodHounds, and also the Fredrin is going to be very, very hard to deal with. And now paired up with the Minotaur, it's a little bit of an overkill on my perspective. I feel like NightHorde needs a little bit more damage at this point, because if they do end up picking something like a carry or maybe the Bruno, the Navaria still takes time to scale. The marksman is going to take time to, get onto whoever the front line is from the side of BloodHounds. And I think BloodHounds have a much more well-rounded comp this time around, especially when you compare to the game on the last time.
Yeah, definitely very well-rounded from BloodHounds. I have to agree. We kind of jumped right in the middle of the draft, so I'm, getting my grips on everything. They get the Claude this time. They have Shred. They have some answers. They also have the Faramis, which is something we know they've liked to pick before. And they have big set potential. I like this much more. I think even if you're losing with this type of draft, you have opportunity. They have, just like last time, just like we've seen before, they have a lot of their boxes checked. They have late game, they have early, they have mid. They have a lot of possibilities here, but the Minotaur could be the wrench to kind of deal, or the problem to deal with that Faramis overall. If NightHorde gets too grouped up and that one big Minoan's Fury comes down, it could be a problem.
Oh man, but we get to see the Levi in action here. This is a great skin. I'm super excited for a lot of these skins. And honestly, the Claude, we also got to rework on the Mech Dragon, so it's going to be quite the fashion show this time around. But take us into the game 2.
Yeah, we're going to be jumping into the land of Dawn. Nothing fancy here. We're keeping it old school at NACT right now. And I'm excited for a NightHorde sitting at match point. BloodHounds looking for the comeback.
Yeah, and we're trying to jump into the match, but it seems like we got a small technical difficulties. I do want to talk about the Lapu Lapu that Ramsey is on. I've seen him play this hero quite a bit, and he's been shown to have extreme dominance on that hero. We did see Mikasa yesterday pull out the Lapu Lapu. Huge impact, level 4 on a lot of the objectives. I'm going to be projecting that Mr. Ramsey himself is going to be doing the same thing here in their match point.
All right, here we go. Yue, you take us in this time.
Yeah, so guys, welcome to the Land of Dawn. It's between BloodHounds this time around, up against NightHorde. It is match point for the Dragons here. BloodHounds looking and finding a way to defend against the new team that NightHorde is.
I love it. I love it, Yue. Felt good, looks good, sounds good. Here we go, boys. Let's jump on in. Now, any win cons? I know we both, we got acquainted with the draft real quick. Now that you've had some time, what do you think is important for each team here?
Well, for the side of BloodHounds, I think they have to put a lot of pressure onto the carry, right? The Navaria is going to be pushing the lanes, clearing the waves by himself. And you can see they are even pressuring onto this mid side, not letting her hit the wave. So a little bit of deny early on. And I think they're using that advantage that the Minnow does not have a great early game. Now, the damage dealers of NightHorde is very obvious. It's the Navaria, which is a little bit hard to catch without a dive, and also the carry. Right? If they can shut down the carry, especially early on, NightHorde is going to be lacking in a lot of damage. You can see the aggressiveness coming out from BloodHounds. They know they have the advantage. They know they have the clear, and they're able to kind of shove the side of NightHorde away from their minions so early on in this match.
I mean, BloodHounds with the ability to kind of zone and control river, they're going to have the advantage in some of this laning phase, and that is something that NightHorde had last game. And this time, if BloodHounds can kind of scale and get this early game under their control, they do have some big snowball possibilities. If Tempest can get a kill in early on, if Ooga Booga hits this level 4 quickly and they make a big turner, maybe not. Ooga Booga in a little bit of trouble, forced back, and that's going to be one member down for this turtle fight.
Yeah, and Ooga Booga is a little bit greedy on that clear. He decided to use his second skill paired with his first to get that wave clear. But top side, Boca is able to pick up the first blood for the side of BloodHounds. A little bit of a comeback in terms of the momentum, but is Tempest going to be in position for this 50-50?
I mean, now he is, and not only that, they're up a member. Oh my foe, still able to secure it though. Template's gonna maybe look for something here. Momo in a little bit of trouble. Boca looking for the drag back, the Shadow Stampede, but Template isn't there to capitalize. And a nice stun on 3 members, but still not enough damage. A big final slash. Now BloodHounds in trouble. Ramses takes out Momo, but Ramses may fall, gets the bravest fighter. The stun on Oh My Foe, but Oh My Foe picks up the kill. It's a 2-for-1 into the hands of NightHorde.
Yeah, but the gold lead is still quite close. 2 for 2, 3 minutes in. Both could be anyone's game so far. BloodHounds, though, they do have a much better opening this time around compared to the last. It feels like they have a little bit more control in a lot of these team fights. They're able to get that pick off that we were kind of emphasizing in the game 1, right? They were getting picked off after objectives on each of the turtle, but this time around, they're the ones that get that pick off. Now the gold lead is quite close, and Mr. Bossy on the top side with the Lapu taking care of business, getting that advantage all the way on the top side of the map.
Yeah, Ramses, aka Sir Bossy. The Lapu is definitely a signature pick for him. He's comfortable on it. He's feeling good on it, and we're seeing exactly why. Nikoko on the Arlot is just getting bullied right now. Up in the top side, you can see Ramses on the minimap cutting lane, just keeping Nikoko back. You see no minions under that tower.
Yeah, but I do think that the side of NightHorde have a great CC comp for a lot of the big team fights, right? They got 3 of the biggest frontliners. They got the Arlot, the Fredrin, and also the Minone. So that's going to be quite a bit of CC for the side of NightHorde to kind of deal with. But the counter engagement for Ooga Booga, especially early on, has been quite good. He got a 3-man implosion early on, and I could expect the same thing going once again. He has the flicker available. Members are closing in onto the mid side.
Ooh, a lot of damage on it. Oh, snipe shot, locked and loaded. Sayori
Sniper
picking up the kill. You know, last time Sayori was on the Lilia, and I felt like was maybe a little bit too aggressive, kept kind of jumping in and not able to pop the black shoes in time. This time, a long-range mage may be the perfect choice for her. Turtle getting chipped down. Oh My Foe looking for the angle. Can he get the steal once again? Tempest able to get it this time. But a little bit of damage does come down. Ooga Booga with the flicker and push back on to Nikoko, but wait, BloodHounds still falling. Nikoko with the vengeance, picking up Tempest. Ooga Booga goes down. Oh My Foe finds Ramses as well, and NightHorde find the swing, find the tempo. Nikoko with the vengeance under the tower. Does not have the final slash right now. Sayori maybe looking for a snipe shot here. Does not land onto Bocarasco, but it's 6-4 now, and NightHorde take the lead.
Yeah, it's a small bloodbath coming out from both teams. NightHorde able to take that little fight. 3-4-1 there. Momo is going to be the only one that falls. So BloodHounds actually kind of going behind now in terms of some of these skirmishes themselves. I do think that Boca has to be in a better position, right? He popped the cold altar a little bit early. The knockup comes through from Momo, and the side of NACT is just able to capitalize on that. And also the implosion only hitting onto Momo with the rotations coming down from that R-lot was just a little bit too much to handle for the side of BloodHounds.
And I think the big turnaround there is Momo hitting that flicker Minoan's Fury. And there's the difference. There's the importance, because he was able to get 3 members. Ooga Booga only catches 1. And those are the moments that change a game.
Yeah, but now for the side of BloodHounds, it seems like they still have an advantage across the map here. Foe looking to see if he could bite off a little bit, but I don't think the side of NACT is going to choose to fully engage onto this, right? It seems like BloodHounds, they still have the map in their favor, and they're just using Bossy as kind of like the frontline lead. Wherever Bossy goes, they're going to try to get the win off of that map, and the top side tower now has fallen for the side of NACT. Even though NACT seems like they're winning in some of these small skirmishes, Bossy has been proven to be a very, very hard problem, and I don't know if they have the response to deal with Sir Bossy here.
Ooh, and Sayori also starting to pack a big punch with those meteors, and Sayori's always connecting onto the members that matter. Either targeting out. Wait a second. Lapu with the bravest fighter, forces to get away, but no, finally a nice 2-man stun, but the Minoan's Fury able to delay them just enough time. Oh My Foe finds Tempest, and Ramses now on the run as well. Sleeps, looking for a target though, trying to lock onto Momo here. Ramses has fallen. It's 3 members down for BloodHounds. Make it 4. A Maniac for Oh My Foe. 7, 0, and 2.
Yeah, man. Oh My Foe has been playing an incredible game in this series, taking 4 kills right there. The side of BloodHounds just doesn't feel like their fights are working out in their favor. Boca here, how to get taken off the board here.
Look at the damage onto Boca. Boca, goodbye. Another kill for Sayori. A turtle, a tower, a Maniac. NACT 4,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, a little small Cupid showing for Sayori, getting the snipes that is necessary for NACT to prevail in this matchup. 12-4 is going to be the overall scoreboard. The lead now back into NACT's favor. A 4K lead now, 8 minutes in. That is going to be quite significant. Paired up with the real estate that NACT has now, the top and the mid has fallen, and that's going to be quite huge for the side of NACT. It opens up a lot of the map, and when you talk about the open map, the river has been completely dominated by the side of NACT now.
All right, so where do we go from here, right? I mean, BloodHounds, I think the big redemption, what's better this game than last game, is they still have set potential, right? They decided not to go for, you know, a one hero pick off roam. They still have something, but it falls a lot onto Ooga Booga. It falls a lot onto Ramses, and it falls a lot onto Sleeps, who might be able to get a kill here onto Nikoko. Nikoko, though, with the outplay. Vengeance back and forth, but Oh My Foe comes in and picks up Sleeps. Now they're going to move on to the next, possibly. BloodHounds, they're looking for moments of greatness, but can't seem to find them.
Yeah, and I think the best case scenario for the BloodHounds is for the Martis and potentially the Cold Altar of the Faramis to kind of tank up and soak up a lot of the utilities and stuns coming out from the side of NACT. And right here comes through.
Big flicker from Amoy there. Nice pick. Out comes the Nether Realm. Helps them survive just enough, but Oh My Foe holding down the front side are there as well. This should be a purple buff over the side of Oh My Foe, but Tempest wants to fight for it. He wants to go for his own land, and he tries to get it, but it's taken from his fingers once again. Oh My Foe. Look, oh, Ooga Booga gone, and the rest of BloodHounds are falling down. Tempest looking for the play, but unable to get the decimation in time, and the unload from R finds Sleeps. BloodHounds, 2 members left. Ramses is going to fall. Oh, gets away, which is a sliver of health. The NACT have gotten what they came for. Let's move on to the Lord.
That's a 3-for-0 trade for the side of NACT. Again, dominating a lot of these small skirmishes. The front line of NACT is just way too tanky for that Lapu to do too much at this point, right? He had that advantage early on, but unfortunately unable to capitalize too much. And even look at this. Foe is just soaking up all the CC coming out from the side of BloodHounds. They don't really have a choice in order to win any of these team fights at this point. I do think they need to scale a little bit back, play a little bit slower, let Sleeps grab up even more gold, right? They need Sleeps to deal a lot of the damage, especially picking off the carry and the Novaria, but they're so well protected. 2, 0, and 10, 1, 0, and 7. They're playing a supporting cast, but honestly, the side of BloodHounds is just not able to hold up the front line that NACT has.
Take a look at the replay real quick. I mean, overall, we're seeing R really start to scale here, right? We're seeing the threat of him. And oh my foe, I mean, what's going on from last game with BTK to this game? These utility jungles are packing a punch. I mean, this guy is 10, 0, and 4 right now. Nikoko able to take a tower, but the Lord's still coming soon. Ramses down. It's going to be a problem. Sleep's able to chip down at the Lord. Momoy looking for a possible another big flicker. Minoan's Fury could just seal the deal here.
Yeah, and I do think he has the spells available. NACT looking to clash onto this mid tower. I don't know if it's going to be disciplined, but they do not want to lose any of the members that they have, but the engagement.
Coco flickers in, looks for the final slash. Big by Uga Booga, able to get them all under the tower. The Minoan's Fury gets the knock up on a Tempest, and R finds the kill. A big stun though in the top side on into Coco. Sleep's able to pick up the kill as well. It's 1 for 1. NACT still unable to break through the inhibitors just yet.
Yeah, and it's really hard for them to even get a hit onto Sayori, right? They don't have the dive necessary to get onto the backside. Maybe the Claude, especially with a good Blazing Duet, can hit Sayori, but that's honestly, if that does happen, Sayori is going to be out of position. But the front line of NACT is just too much to deal with. Look at R here.
R finds the angles time after time, but he's pushed onto the tower. Gets brought low. Bocarasco taken out off cam. NACT looking to keep pushing in. They take the middle inhibitor. Back off. Wait for the next wave of minions. Ramses also kind of keeping the flank. NACT finally decides to back off.
Yeah, NACT backing off, I think, is going to be the best decision that they can. I don't think they need to really push onto BloodHounds' base right now. They could take the objectives and play it slow. It feels like they have that late game potential, and especially with the carry and the Novaria. If the side of BloodHounds cannot shut them down, especially in the early game where the damage is not as crazy, now that we're going into this 13-minute match, and especially with the gold lead of a 10k from the side of NACT, it's going to be really hard to get onto the backside. The front members are just too tanky on the backside. They're just shredding so hard whoever's coming into play from the side of BloodHounds.
All right, so once again, 10k deficit for BloodHounds. I mean, where do we go from here? It feels like NACT just has them figured out. I think if this game, if BloodHounds can maybe survive this Lord, maybe one more Lord, or they win another big team fight and kind of lower the gold lead, they have some opportunity, but Momoy not going to let it happen. The Minoan's Fury unable to connect, though, but does zone away, does do the job.
Sayori.
Look at the damage, and Sayori in trouble. Blazing Duet comes in, followed up with the Nether Realm. But oh, my foe doesn't care. He's defying the odds. R takes out Uga Booga. R moving on to Sleep. R looking for the kills. Bocarasco is helpless against him. Ramses also there, but oh, my foe still sitting at the Lord, ready to take him down.
Yeah, the gold lead is just a little bit too much for the side of BloodHounds to handle at this point. Kill 20 to 5, 14 minutes. You can see the impact that Momo has in this game already. That was a two-man set that pretty much forced the jungler and pretty much everyone from the side of BloodHounds to retreat, grabbing up a few kills here and there. Again, the impact that NACT has right now, especially on this Minnow, is just too difficult for even Uga Booga to handle himself, and BloodHounds now caught in a pretty bad situation. They have to figure out how to get onto the backside, and I think that last fight where Sayori was caught off a little bit was their best moment, but even then, the Momo and also Foe was able to peel off the Claude on the Blazing Duet, and that's going to be quite tough for any of them to come back.
Explosion does land, able to push two members back, followed in, but wait a second, the Minoan's Fury to counter back. Members are knocked up, and Chaos has unveiled the crystal. Two members down for BloodHounds, one down for NACT. They find another. Bocarasco's next, and Tempest is alone. The NACT should take this game 2-0.
Woo! NACT, the Dragons have been able to take victorious in this series, just like you're saying. 2-0 is going to be the score. They're not giving BloodHounds any points in this series. 24-6 is the overall scoreboard. 5th 15-minute games for the Dragons here, and you can take a look at all the happy smiling faces of NightHorde in this series. And Nikoko with the debut in this matchup here played really well. The Arlott had so much impact in this game, and also the X-Borg was proven quite difficult for the side of BloodHounds to even handle.
That is definitely a problem. I mean, just overall, NightHorde, I think from draft to gameplay, they knew what their composition was, and they were able to execute it very well. But I got to give it up to Oh My Foe, man. I think he went that whole game deathless, finished around maybe 11-0 and something. I mean, just an overall monster. And even Sayori had kind of a rough game in game number 1, even though they won, but that game knew exactly what she needed to do and just was hitting those meteors like snipers.
Yeah, and I think the draft from NightHorde is actually quite good. The 3 front lines that they had was just really difficult for BloodHounds to even try and penetrate and get a kill here and there. And when they do get the kill, it's like on Momo, right? Like they don't get the shutdown from Foe, which has played a perfect game in the last 2 games. And it's just really hard for the side of BloodHounds to get onto the backside of NightHorde. And of course, this 2-0 victory is going to be a lot for the side of NightHordes. They not only grab both of the points, or grab all 3 of the points in this series, they completely push BloodHounds onto the bottom side where Legacy is also sleeping. But the handsome, the guy of the hour, Mr. Zeke, is back in business.
We're not very good at that.
What is that?
Anyways, whatever. I don't know.
We missed it, guys.
Yeah,
just like
missed
that. Fired.
bigness.
Never again.